everyone, welcome to another episode of Ask Flora. Today's question comes from Grace and she writes, "Hey Flora, thanks for taking my question. I've been a big fan of yours for years. I recently heard you speak at an event and you mentioned a few things about ethics in the spiritual community. What's your take about ethics in healing, specifically sending healing energy to someone who's in need? Sincerely, Grace from Chicago." Oh my goodness, Grace, you opened a can of worms. This is actually a topic that I could talk about for days, and I really feel, before I share my opinion professionally and personally, I really encourage all of you to really sit with this information and to sit with ethics and what you find ethical, and really allow yourself to determine what you feel is ethical for you. So before I state my opinion, what's ethical for you might not be ethical for someone else, and what is a healthy boundary for you might not be a healthy boundary for somebody else. So with that said, I feel sending anyone any type of healing energy, or energy in particular, regardless of what kind it is, I find it highly unethical to send anyone any type of energy when they have not given you their express permission. One of the things that I share with my students in my level 1 class is doing a little bit of energy work is like being a little bit pregnant. You can't just do a little. And yes, we all have free will. And if it's sent, if the energy, specifically healing energy, which is what you're asking about, if someone is sending healing energy to someone, you're basically playing God, thinking that you know what's best for them. And I actually had a student one time who saw a Facebook post of mine, and she felt that I was going through something and needing some Reiki energy. So she sent me Reiki energy without my permission, and she sent me an email the next day saying, "Oh, I hope you don't mind, but I sent you some Reiki." And I said, "Well, actually, I do mind. I find it highly unethical and kind of disturbing that you would send energy without my permission." And she's like, "Well, it's just healing energy." And I said, "I don't care. It's not up to you to determine what's best for me and my healing and my expansion and my growth." And this is something I literally will get on a soapbox about, because it's not up to us to determine what someone else needs. Every week I actually have a healing thread on my Facebook page, and I've been working with the seed of life for years. I've got this ring that is the seed of life, and it's so symbolic to me, and it is the essence of source energy. It is the essence of that pure potential energy. And in my thread, I ask permission to send that energy to anyone who responds. The only person that I send it to is the person that says, "Yes, please send it to me." If they say send it to my family, I don't send it to their family because I didn't get permission from their family. They say, "Oh yeah, send it to my kids." I don't send it to their kids because I did not get express permission from each of their individual children. Some people might say, "Oh my God, Flora, you're totally splitting hairs," and that's okay. This is my stance. This is my opinion, both professionally and personally, about sending healing energy. It's not up to me to determine who needs to be healed. We see all these disasters locally and globally. And I see so many Facebook pages and so many organizations sending healing energy. Maybe those people don't need healing energy. Maybe this disaster was a blessing for them. Let's just say that you get fired from your job, and that day you're like, "Oh my God, my world is over. What am I gonna do?" And then the next day you realize, "I feel so free. I didn't like that job anyway." And so what at first might seem horrific to you, over time might be the best thing that's ever happened to you. So in my personal and professional opinion, and again, this may differ from everybody watching, and that's okay. We don't have to be the same, and we shouldn't. But I feel doing a little bit of energy work without anybody's permission is highly, highly unethical. And the only way that I will ever send anyone healing energy is when I get their express permission. So some of you, many of you watching are crystal healers, you're Reiki practitioners, maybe you work with the One Ascension energy, and I've heard many times from people who have learned energy modalities that their teachers say, oh, well, if you're just sending them healing energy, they have free will, so they can choose to accept it or not accept it. Some people aren't consciously aware of that. Some people literally are just sponges and soak in all the energy that is coming to them. And again, maybe it's not beneficial for them to receive that. Maybe they want to and need to go through whatever it is that they're going through. So I would encourage you to really sit with this and ask yourself, what do I feel is ethical for me? Now, I highly believe in holding sacred space for someone, but never sending energy to anyone. And that's a whole nother video. But I hope that I've answered your question today, Grace. I could speak about this topic for days, but I would encourage you to think about what's ethical for you might not be ethical for somebody else, and what's ethical for someone else might not be ethical for you. So I would encourage you to really think about your take on ethics and sending any type of energy to anyone. And I would encourage you to really ponder this and sit with it and discuss it with your spiritual tribe. Discuss it with your peers and your peeps. And allow yourself to come to your own conclusion. This is one that's taken me, this is kind of a take that I've had since I was young, but every time somebody brings this up, I sit with it, question it, reevaluate it, and this has been my stance for a very, very, very long time. So I would encourage you to sit with it and do the same as well. Thank you so much for your question, Grace. Now, if you have a question for this Ask Flora segment, I would be more than happy to answer it and give you my personal and professional opinion about it. You can send your questions to flora@florasage.com. Until next time, bye-bye.